Have you ever heard the story of the demon that whispered to the king? It's not a tale of fire and brimstone, but of a poison far more subtle, a venom that seeps into the soul. Before a single sword was drawn, before the trumpets of war even sounded, a presence slipped silently into the king's tent. It wasn't a monster of fang and claw. It was a whisper, smooth as silk and twice as deadly. "You are chosen," it hissed, its voice wrapping around the king's heart like a comforting shroud. "You are unstoppable. You need no counsel, no warning, no God, only your own will." The king, a man weary of the gnawing teeth of doubt and fear, found solace in these words. The whisper felt like strength, like destiny itself. He didn't realize it then, but pride always sounds like confidence right up until the moment the fall begins. That morning, he rode into battle, not in armor of steel, but in armor of arrogance. He watched his enemies crumble before him and believed it was the taste of victory. But his eyes, clouded by pride, were blind to the real war being waged. The demon, you see, never cared who won the physical battle. Its only goal was to ensure that pride sat upon the throne. When the dust finally settled and the cheers of victory faded, a chilling silence took their place. The king had conquered his external enemies, but in doing so, he had lost his entire kingdom from within. His loyal men, once brothers in arms, turned on each other with suspicion and greed. His own son, seeing the darkness in his father's eyes, rose in rebellion. And the king's faith, the very foundation of his reign, crumbled into dust. The demon's true victory was never on the battlefield. It was won in the heart of the one who chose to believe the whisper. And to this day, that same voice still echoes in the quiet corners of our own lives. You don't need help. You can do this alone. You know better. Every time we believe it, another unseen war is lost. Now, this story might sound like a simple parable, but it's rooted in a truth that has been told for thousands of years. This king was King Saul, the first king of Israel. And the demon. It was the spirit of pride and disobedience that took root in his heart the moment he stopped listening to God and started trusting his own power. Let's look closer. The whisper Saul heard wasn't an audible voice, but the seductive logic of his own ego. In the book of 1 Samuel, God gives Saul a clear command to completely destroy the Amalekites, leaving nothing behind. But Saul disobeys. He spares their king and keeps the best of their livestock. When confronted by the prophet Samuel, Saul doesn't see his sin, instead he justifies it. He claims he saved the animals to sacrifice them to the Lord. Can you hear the whisper? It's pride masquerading as piety. It's the voice that says, "My way is better. I know better than God." That was the turning point. That was the moment Saul invited the demon to sit on the throne of his heart. After that, Saul went into many battles, believing he was still blessed, still God's chosen king. But the scriptures tell us the Spirit of the Lord had departed from him. He was a king running on the fumes of past glory, a hollow shell clothed in royal robes. His victories on the battlefield were empty because the war for his soul was already lost. His fall was not a sudden event, but a slow, agonizing decay. It manifested as a deep, burning jealousy of the young shepherd. David, Saul, the mighty king, became consumed by paranoia, hunting a boy who had only served him faithfully. His rage, his obsession with control, and his violent mood swings destroyed his peace, his family, and ultimately his throne. He went from a humble man chosen by God to a tormented soul seeking answers from a medium, a practice he himself had outlawed. The demon's victory was absolute. Saul lost everything, not in a great battle against the Philistines, but in the private war against his own pride. He died on his own sword, a tragic end for a king who had started with so much promise. And this brings us to the message for you and for me today. The devil doesn't always come to destroy you with obvious temptations, with flashy sins that are easy to spot. Sometimes he comes to simply agree with your pride, a whisper that you're too smart to need advice, that your past successes guarantee your future, that you don't need to forgive because you were the one who was wronged. He'll tell you that you don't need God's correction, His guidance, or His grace, that you are the master of your own fate, the captain of your own soul. That is the whisper that ruined King Saul, and it's the same whisper that ruins people today. It's the subtle voice that convinces us to build our kingdoms on the sand of our own abilities, rather than the rock of God's authority. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against any external enemy. It's against the whisper of pride in your own heart. The question is, will you listen to it? Or will you, with humility, listen to the voice of God, who offers a kingdom that can never be shaken? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores these timeless truths. Your support means the world. We'll see you in the next one.